574-4687.
Call now.
First tonight, a terrifying and almost hard to believe story out of Springboro.
Now, the man you see here behind us, Dennis Meade, was arrested by Springboro police over the weekend for allegedly impersonating an officer. But the moments leading up to that arrest are shocking. Lydia Bice sat down with the victims in the case. They're sharing their story tonight. So, Lydia, what exactly happened?
So on June 15th, a mother, father, and their 2 young children were driving on I-75 when this man, Dennis Meade, attempted to hit their car and then turned on police lights that we now know are fake. It was also later discovered that he had a loaded gun, fake police badge, and more concerning items in his vehicle.
I asked him if it was a cop because I would have pulled over. If it wasn't for him, I would have pulled over.
And what'd you say?
Nah, it's like, he don't have red and blue. It was red and something else. It was just, it wasn't red and blue, and I was like, I'm not stopping.
Now, Lydia, of course, we know that some of those concerning items were found in Meade's vehicle. What exactly were they?
That's right. So the responding Springboro police officer found a .40 caliber pistol, police lights in the windshield and headlights and taillights, handcuffs, a notepad with license plate numbers and addresses written on it, traffic cones, and more. So coming up on Fox 45 at 6:30, we'll play some of this body camera footage for you where you'll see Meade's reaction to being arrested. Back to you.
Lydia, thank you. A man is in the hospital recovering tonight after police say he was shot in the neck this morning. Happened just after 4:30 on Old Troy Pike. Now, this woman, 37-year-old Nicole Hill, was arrested on scene, charged with aggravated assault. Now, we don't know yet if Hill and the victim knew each other. That victim is unable to speak, but is stable and expected to be okay, we're told. That shooting remains under investigation.
A Butler County jail teen intern is now facing charges related to an alleged relationship she had with federal prisoners. Now, the Butler County Sheriff's Office says the 17-year-old admitted to bringing drugs and a cell phone to inmates. Chelsea Sick spoke with Sheriff Richard Jones about that investigation.
I've been doing this for 48 years, and when people want to do things, they do them.
Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones says a 17-year-old girl was serving as a jail intern when an inappropriate relationship began between her and 2 federal prisoners. The incident report says she admitted to bringing drugs into the facility and a cell phone. Was she under supervision the entire time she was in the jail?
Yes.
So how was that able to be brought in? And
They wait for you to turn their back. Unless you're holding their hand, it happens.
Inmates Willie Attaway and Larkin McGowan were placed at the jail by the U.S. Marshals. Jail documents say the inmates called the teen's cell phone numerous times to discuss bringing drugs to the jail. Sheriff Jones says inmates and their parents sign paperwork before the internship starts.
They sign a document. They're told they can't bring drugs into a facility. You can't have sex with prisoners.
Is it believed that she also had sex with those inmates?
I'm not going to discuss that right now. She said some things, and then she said some other things. And
Deputies arrested her back in March. Sheriff Jones says they immediately reported it.
That was Chelsea Sick reporting. Now, Sheriff Jones says the investigation is ongoing. He says they've been in touch with the leaders at Butler Tech, and they plan to keep the internship program going. The Sheriff's Office is conducting an internal investigation into the incident.
All right, let's give you a live look from our Eco Plumber Sky Cam now. A few clouds out there. Another warm day. Let's check in with Natalie.
Yeah, warm and muggy out here. We still have our heat advisory in effect for our area. This continues until 8 p.m. on Saturday. They have extended it into Saturday as the heat and humidity is expected to continue on as well. Currently, we're in the upper 80s, 88 in Dayton, 88 in Troy. Factoring in the humidity, this is what it feels like. Feels like 94 in Dayton, feels like 96 in Springfield right now. But we also have a couple of thunderstorms that have popped up across the area. Taking a look at where we have a storm up in Auglaize County making its way into Wapakoneta, so expect some heavy rain, frequent lightning, and likely some gusty winds. And then we also have a little storm near Richmond too. So we'll continue to watch that thunderstorm potential for the evening before we clear out overnight. It'll be another warm one. I'll talk about the rest of the week coming up.
Well, the Centerpoint Energy Dayton Air Show presented by Kroger, if you can believe it, is just 3 days away. And the headliners of the show have officially landed here in Dayton. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels landed just a couple hours ago, but of course, not without giving us first a little show. Of course they would. The crew did a small formation and a few tricks before touching down. The gates open at 9 a.m. this coming Saturday and Sunday. The flying starts at 11:15.
And as we inch closer to Air Show weekend, more and more aircrafts have been flying in to join the excitement. Courtesy of the organization's Dream Flights and Legacy Flights, a couple of World War II replica planes have arrived to give very special rides. Eli Burgett caught up with the organizers. So what's the story behind these?
Well, the nonprofit organizations Legacy Flights and Dream Flights have been giving both active service members and veterans the thrill of a lifetime. How do they pull this off? By giving them free rides in a Boeing Stearman biplane and a North American AT-6, both replicas of World War II trainers.
And it's more than just a plane flight. It's showing them the appreciation. It's doing something unique that they don't think they can do again. It's the connection that we make. And I've just seen it have a profound impact on hundreds of people.
In 2011, when Daryl Fisher was flying his father's biplane from Mississippi to Oregon, he decided to make a few stops along the way to give some local veterans a quick ride. 13 years and thousands of flights later, Fisher is still giving veterans a thrill to remember. The flights were such a success that Fisher wanted to give active service members that same thrill. That's how Legacy Flights was born. In September, the two organizations will reach over 7,000 flights successfully flown. Both the Boeing Stearman biplane and the North American AT-6 will be on display at this weekend's Centerpoint Energy Dayton Air Show presented by Kroger. And if you are interested in donating towards these flights, then you can visit the web version of this story on Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Eli, thank you. Cincinnati may be in line for a major expansion of passenger rail service. It's part of a big push to put Amtrak's route system nationally. They want to build it nationally. James Pilcher has the details on how this would help expand travel options here in the Buckeye State.
Cincinnati currently has one route running through the Amtrak station here at Union Terminal, but a new federal plan calls for that number to triple with some major points south and west.
Earlier this month, the Federal Railroad Administration released its final proposal for additional long-distance passenger rail routes to be added and paid for with $66 billion from the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill passed nearly 3 years ago. Here's a look at the existing long-range route for Amtrak, including the Cardinal Line, which connects Chicago to New York City through Cincinnati. And here's all the new proposed long-range national routes. They include 2 new Cincinnati stops, one on a new line connecting Detroit through Nashville and ending in New Orleans. The other would connect New York to Dallas-Fort Worth, again running through Cincinnati. This would be in addition to the Cardinal Line, not replacing it. And Ohio rail advocates say this also would be in addition to the proposed line connecting Cincinnati to Dayton, Columbus, and Cleveland. That's still on the table as a corridor route as part of the proposed passenger rail expansion.
So it's a huge potential win, assuming that we get the funding and we're able to roll forward with these long distance routes. We're going to get connected to a bunch of different cities.
Both new lines could also connect with possible new stations in Springfield, Dayton, and Columbus, and new stops in Louisville and Bowling Green in Kentucky.
The families who lost loved ones in 2 Boeing 737 MAX crashes say they want the aircraft manufacturer to be hit with a big fine. Adam at the Now Desk. So what exactly do they want?
So the lawyer representing those families sent a 32-page letter to the Department of Justice calling for Boeing to be fined $24 billion. Now that comes as the U.S. government is considering whether criminal charges should be filed against the company. Now Boeing has not responded yet. The Justice Department says it will inform the court what actions, if any, it'll take by July 7th.
The first ever Juneteenth honor flight took Black veterans from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. today. The 26 veterans getting to visit the memorials built in their honor, including the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. Now, the Honor Flight Network says a lot of work went into getting this done.
Since that first shot fired from Lexington Green, Massachusetts in 1775, Black folk have been defending this country. And so there were a few things that we did have to understand prior to, number one, the history of African Americans in U.S. military history. We had to really go out and not just say, oh, here's your invitation, but really compel them to come.
Among today's group, a 101-year-old and 3 Purple Heart recipients.
And there are a lot of Juneteenth celebrations happening right now across the area. We're going to take you to Kettering's celebration and share what you can expect if you head out.
The Columbus Crew playing tonight without their top player. How the team is feeling about that game.
And heat and humidity continuing for the rest of the week. I'll let you know if we have any relief on the way. That's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Sponsored by the truck.
% on diamond jewelry. Details at jamesfree.com.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Alberto is bringing heavy rain and wind to southern Texas. There's already minor flooding near the coast. A storm should make landfall in Mexico tomorrow morning. This thunderstorm in Pennsylvania appeared in the middle of a hot and sunny day. It was terrain-induced, meaning air was forced over a mountain, inducing cloud formation and eventually the storm.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Kettering's third Juneteenth celebration kicking off at the Phrase, the holiday celebrated on this day to commemorate the end of slavery in America. Jenny Bork live from Kettering now. What's going on there?
Adam and Elise, right now African-American culture is being celebrated on a day so important in America's history. There's a reggae band playing, vendors and food trucks are here for people to stop by. Many are Black-owned businesses. Today is a day not only to celebrate African-American culture, but to reflect on the struggle to end slavery and a time in American history when all who were enslaved learned they were free. Many think the Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Lincoln in 1863 ended slavery, but Kettering's Community Development Manager explains the significance of this day.
One of the reasons that this date is so significant is because unlike today's age, when you can find out any news in seconds, it took 2 years plus for this last group of enslaved individuals to learn that they were free.
Rahman says there are also educational opportunities here today, but today is really to celebrate and commemorate this time in history. This celebration will be going on until 8 o'clock tonight. Back to you in studio.
Well, as Jenna Lee mentioned, the celebration at the Freeze goes until 8 o'clock tonight, and there are lots of other Juneteenth events happening around Dayton. The Dayton Contemporary Dance Company hosting an event at the Bright Side. It has live painting, dance performances, raffle prizes, an art auction, and a lot more. That goes until 9:30. In Springboro, a Jubilee is now underway with a community symposium until 7. If you can't make it there in time, celebrations continue on Saturday with a basketball tournament and food truck rally at North Park. We got a full list of the Juneteenth events happening this weekend on our website, Dayton247now.com.
If you are planning on heading out to any of tonight's Juneteenth events, you can get a free RTA ride. The Greater Dayton RTA is offering free rides throughout the whole system to ensure everyone can attend the events around the Miami Valley. You can plan your trip to the festivities on iRideRTA.org. If you do head out, though, we would love to see your photos and videos. So if you have something to share, grab your phone, scan the QR code. That's going to take you to their Chime In page. You can upload all of that to us directly, and you might even see it here at Dayton 24/7 Now.
All right, to weather we go, and this is kind of a similar theme to what we've seen all week, these little storms that pop up.
Right. If you get under one, you be a little lucky, it'll cool you off, and then also bring you some of that much needed rain. But that being said, any storm that does develop across the area could be on the stronger to severe side. We're not seeing that as of right now, but there is a severe thunderstorm warning just off to the north near the Toledo area. But as far as what's going on for us, we have this storm. So if you're in Wapakoneta right now, you are getting some very heavy rain, some lightning, likely some gusty winds, maybe up to 40 miles per hour there. And then this thunderstorm, which has fallen apart as it made its way into Richmond, and we'll continue to monitor for a spot shower or a storm for the rest of this evening. You'll notice that here through time will quiet down. Tomorrow, a little bit more sunshine. Today was pretty cloudy. Tomorrow we'll see more sunshine, which is going to help temperatures climb. I'm thinking more mid, maybe some upper 90s tomorrow. Still can't rule out a pop-up shower or storm. And then same thing with our Friday. More sunshine, very small chance, even less of a chance for a pop-up shower or storm for our Friday. But it is going to stay hot with those upper 90s continuing in the forecast for us, close to records, especially Friday, Saturday, with the record being 98 degrees. But by next week, notice those highs back into the upper 80s for our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We do get back up to 90 degrees. So we continue an above normal temperature trend, but just a little less humid by next week, too.
Well, many communities across the area now opening up cooling centers to help people get out of the intense heat. This is a list of places you can go, and we got that full list right now on our website, Dayton247now.com.
Well, get ready because happening tomorrow, the Legacy Pancake House will be officially holding its grand reopening after their former building burned down. Legacy Pancake House bought Holly's Home Cooking earlier this year in West Carrollton. The former building on Kiowee Street was a total loss in the fire and has since been torn down. The restaurant officially reopens at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Tonight, the Columbus Crew, they go on the road to face Inter Miami, but the big story is who's not going to be on the pitch in this game. Dave Holmes joining us with more.
Yeah, bad news for the fans, good news for the Columbus Crew. Lionel Messi will not play tonight for Miami because he's playing for Argentina in Copa America. Miami will also be without their other top goal scorer, Luis Suarez. So the Columbus Crew has a great chance to win a 5th straight road game tonight, something they haven't done since the 2015 season. And get this, if the Crew does win tonight, they would have more road victories this season than all of last season, and it's still the middle of June. Momentum is certainly on the side of the black and gold, but history is not. Columbus has never won a road game in Miami. They're hoping to break that trend tonight.
Why we've been successful these last 4 games on the road is approaching each game for what it is, the learning process that comes with it. And I think we've grown on the road, especially this year, based off of the results that we had last year. And just having that confidence that we can play wherever we're at, our style of football.
Miami currently sits on top of the Eastern Conference standings, but they also have 4 games in hand over the Crew. So a good chance for the black and gold to make up some of those points tonight.
Well, when kids are fed, they're fueled to thrive. But for many kids that rely on schools for their meals, summer can be challenging. Dayton 24/7 Now is partnering with Feeding America for Sinclair Care's Summer Hunger Relief. Scan the QR code to help provide meals for children and families here in the Miami Valley.
Well, warm and muggy out there, so dew points, the measure of moisture in the air, when they get into the 70s, it feels pretty sticky, and that's exactly the case. In fact, close to 80 for our dew point in Lebanon right now. So it is just a very humid evening. 68 in Dayton for our dew point. Either way, it's going to stay rather muggy. But by next week, we do start to see a little relief. Here's a look at our muggy meter. You can see how by Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday, we start to feel just a little bit more comfortable as dew points drop back down into the 60s. Still just a little sticky, but definitely not as bad as what we are for today, as well as for the end of this week. So as far as pool weather, it is looking pretty good. We'll continue to see overall those muggy conditions, and it is going to be very hot. So hitting the pool next several days, just keep in mind that if you're hanging out by the pool, still drink lots of water, wear your sunscreen, be extra careful because it is going to be hot and sticky.
Well, it's cookout season and it's sure feeling like it. Coming up, a place where you can go to get some great hot dogs without the hassle of making them yourself.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
July 10th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
It is summertime, which means barbecues and cookouts with delicious food. But if you don't have a grill, or maybe you just want a good hot dog without making one yourself, we have the perfect place for you. Tage Joshi shows us Briella's Hot Dogs in Springfield and the different types of dogs you can get.
If you are looking for a great place to grab a locally owned hot dog this summer, we have got you covered here in the heart of Springfield at the National Road Commons Park, which is right back there. You will find a beautiful hot dog stand. This is Briella's Hot Dog Stand, locally owned, as I said, here in the heart of Springfield, and they have so much tasty deliciousness. They're known for their Chicago-style dogs. They also have unique conies here. They call their coney the Springfield-style coney. Very good stuff here across the board. They cover that with a lot of cheese. They have other unique, great hot dogs here that you can try, and of course, you can support local. A couple of things to note: they have all beef hot dogs here, but they also offer some vegan and turkey options. And the team here jokingly says no ketchup allowed on their hot dogs. Of course, that's what they wish you would do, but they do offer a few ketchup packets just in case. They're here throughout the summer, right here at the park, and they'll be at other events and catering opportunities throughout the summer as well. It's a great local spot to support a local team. Back to you in the studio.
You know, these stories right before dinner time are never good. But hey, great weather, or warm weather, I should say. Great weather for the pool. Great way to cool off, as it was another 92-degree day. We're at 3 in a row of reaching 92 degrees. So got a 3-day stretch of those 90-degree temperatures. And I think we'll be warmer Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, thanks to a little bit more sunshine out there. Cloud cover has kept temperatures down. Either way, it's a hot week, and it's going to remain pretty hot. Even in our extended forecast, we have a cool down on the way. We'll see our highs drop into the 80s.
That isn't
but then